The king has donkey's ears. It all took place in the ancient Silla. All of a sudden, the king's ear began to grow. They kept growing day after day until they shot up over his head, looking just like a donkey's ears. This deeply troubled the king. You see, as a king of a country, he could not let himself be seen with such queer ears. Therefore, he decided to hide them so no one could see them. He made sure to keep a big crown on when his subjects were near him. But his ears kept getting bigger and longer, and his crown could not keep them entirely. After racking his brains quite a while, he called out an old man to his palace. I don't know why, but my ears kept growing. So you shall make a crown big enough for me. Never tell anybody about this. If the secret ever gets out, your life will be in danger. Such a crown the old man made for the king, and he promised that he would never tell anyone. Underneath this crown, the king hid his 2 ears, the size of those of a donkey. No one else but the old man himself, the maker of this crown, knew the truth about the king's ears. Seeing the king with a huge one, far bigger than the previous ones, people whispered among themselves, "The king is wearing a crown so much taller. What's going on? A great crown for a great king. That's what, don't you think so?" Whenever the old man heard people say these things, he could hardly hide his smile. The king has a donkey's ears, that's why. He wanted to tell them the truth, but it would be a disaster if he ever did. So he kept quiet day after day, as though he had no secret. Now the king wore that same huge crown day and night. For this reason, all people, including those in the palace, except for his closest courtiers, did not know for many years that their king had a donkey's ears. And the old man who knew the secret often laughed quietly. Some people thought it strange and asked him why he was laughing, but he wouldn't tell them the truth. Still, whenever he thought about the king, he could not but laugh whether the people noticed him or not. As you remember, when making the king's crown, he had to touch and measure these long ears. The king's face was still vivid in his mind. Such a queer-looking king in a great big crown, seated on his throne so nobly, facing his people. The old man couldn't help but laugh. Some people of the village wondered if this old man, so often laughing to himself, was losing his mind after all. Despite their talk, he still wouldn't tell anyone the reason why. When he heard them say, "Our king is very handsome, doesn't he look great with such a tall crown on him?" he again laughed. He could almost see those long soft ears wiggling and jiggling under the huge crown. Then people remarked he was crazy and scorned him. "The king has a donkey's ears!" The old man wanted so much to say that just for once. What misery it has been all these years not to be able to say it. He felt as if he had become a dumb man. Besides, people were now calling him a crazy man. Those who believed the king had a tall crown matching his greatness were wrong, and he was nearly crazy with his desire to tell them so. But you never know when it will come for your life if you give a secrecy. If the king himself finally hears the word of mouth, he will surely have the old man killed. So he kept his mouth shut tight and choked down his desire, and several more years went by. Is there any way I can speak out just for once, before I die? It crushed him that he was not allowed to tell the truth, just this once. Then perhaps it would make his death so much easier. Feeling very sad, the old man went outside the city gate for a breath of air. On he walked until he saw a bamboo grove. There was nobody else around, so only the sounds of bamboo leaves seemed to be talking to him. Now the old man really wants to say those words he had been holding back. No one else around. not even a child saw. Nothing could go wrong later on. He cupped his hands over his mouth and shouted toward the grove. "The king has donkey ears!" The old man's croak rolled through the grove. The sun unturned, he felt, set free whatever had been bottled up inside him. Relieved now, he came home feeling free. A few days later, he left his world peacefully. After his death, people began to hear a strange sound coming from the surprise. This is what they heard among the rustle of the leaves whenever the wind blew. "The king has donkey ears." How weird that a bamboo grove, with no one there, should make such sound. The whole town buzzed and talk at the last reached the palace. The king was startled to hear the report. It was strange enough to hear a human voice from the grove, but truly unbelievable that it was saying, "The king has donkey's ears." So the king secretly sent one of his officers to the bamboo grove outside the city gate. The officer carefully searched the grove for any suspect who might be hiding and making such sound, but without success. The sound of voice was heard only when the wind blew. At the puff of the wind, the bamboo leaf would rustle so, carrying that hoarse voice. "The king has donkey's ears. The king has donkey's ears." The king was very angry and ordered, "Cut down all those bamboo trees." And his officers did cut down all of them, those bamboo trees in the bamboo grove. The voice that had been chanting, "The king has donkey ears," was no more heard since then. Some time later, a farmer planted silver berries where the bamboo grove had been, and the silver berries were quite dense with thick growth when the same sound fell on the farmer's ear once more. "The king has donkey's ears." The wind was carrying along with it in a hoarse human voice. The king, on hearing that, at once saw the people already knew he had long ears. For this reason, he didn't have the silver berries cut down. Instead, he began to gradually expose his long ears that he so first struggled to hide. And for all I know, that made people take it easy with the king's long ears.